Welcome everybody to this fantastic evening of inspiration and speaker session organized by Rotary Club of Mumbai Inspire. Taking cue of the cricket, I would call this as the Rotary Inspire Stadium, which is packed to house, spotlights in the evening, pitch is good, weather is pleasant. This opportunity of introducing our chief guest for the evening, DG Agarwal ji, Rotarian, human being, person who has service in his focus, has initiated several interesting projects, impactful projects in his career of Rotary. And just before this session, he was telling this morning a project that is very close to his heart. The heart surgeries for children is something which is a very noble cause that he's doing, and he's helping people all across the place. And it's a very interesting moment for us to be under his leadership, his guidance, and I would call on him to share a few thoughts of his and talk about how we can get inspired by all the activities that the district is doing and we as a club can contribute. Rajendra ji.
I would also take this opportunity to say hi to Gautam. Hi Gautam. Nice to see you.
Just mine. Hi guys.
Hi.
Can we unmute Rajendra ji?
Yes, done. Thank you. Thank you, Shanta. So first of all, congratulations, Shanta Veluri Gandhi, Dream President of Rotary Club of Inspire and the lead host for this fantastic evening with Gautam Gambhir.
Thank you so much.
I also acknowledge Anup Gupta, the co-host for this program and the president of my club, Bombay Queen City. I also acknowledge the 22 co-host clubs today. Congratulations, Shanta, for a grand program which you have managed today. Going down, Gautam Gambhir, fantastic meeting you, interacting with you on Zoom.
It
has been absolutely wonderful. We have been all knowing about you, seeing you, but never had a chance to meet you or interact with you. So Shanta kabhi humko personally milayegi, lekin aaj Zoom par hi sahi. So Gautam, I can just say something about Rotary. आज जब रोटरियन ने हमको बम्बई का रोटरी का डिस्ट्रिक्ट गवर्नर बना दिया है, and I've been doing Rotary work for the last 29 years, and Rotary is absolutely a great international service organization. But before I talk about Rotary, Gautam, let me recognize your achievement थोड़ा बहुत जो हम जानते हैं, your batting, your awards, the best Arjuna award which you won, absolutely fantastic. You have been like the best player of spin, which we all know. And Kolkata Knight Riders, जो हमारे शाहरुख खान की जूही चावला की टीम थी, which you led 2 times to winning those 2 titles. So it has been, you have been literally a hero for all of us, and it is absolutely wonderful. Now talking about Rotary, Gautam, this year is a very special year for Rotary. In this particular year, we got Shekhar Mehta as the Rotary World President. He is the 4th Indian in the last 115 years to be the Rotary World President. So it's a very special year for Rotary, for all Indians, for all the clubs, because Shekhar Mehta's vision is outstanding. He is from Calcutta, staying in Calcutta, and from Jodhpur, from Rajasthan. I saw even you have been part of the Rajasthan Cricket Board. So हमारे शेखर मेहता जी भी राजस्थान के हैं, and शेखर मेहता जी का he is interacted with all the cabinet ministers of India. He also met Narendra Modi 2-3 weeks back, and he has told them that Rotary is willing to do 10% work of the central government all over India. So the vision is so big. His vision makes us all do Rotary work continuously. We are 1.5 lakh Rotarians all over India. So we are all working together, and the biggest vision of Shekhar Mehta is he is declared publicly India will be 100% literate in the next 5 years because of Rotary. Rotary is different because government is different in different states, they can't work together. But Rotary is a single unit, and we 38 governors of India are like the 38 chief ministers of one unit. So we are all working together at a very big level, and we will all together make India literate in the next 5 years and do outstanding work. Gautam, to just share with you about what made me the Rotary governor, I have coordinated 2,500 heart surgeries for children in the last 5 years. And I tell all my presidents कि कभी कोई भी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी सर्व करने के लिए, कोई भी बच्चा हो बड़ा हो, कभी ना नहीं बोलना. When you don't say no and when you say I will try, the full world opportunities open up to you how to help someone. So that is our vision, to keep helping the poor continuously. In Rotary, we got many big donors who are the givers, and we are the coordinators, and we keep looking out for the people who are our beneficiaries. And Rotary में जो लोग जुड़ते हैं, उनको इतनी खुशी मिलती है, इतनी happiness मिलती है कि they never ever forget the happiness they get in Rotary. Gautam, I'm going to share with you a small example of what Rotary is. In a short, I will share with you one small example. मैं जो 2,500 heart surgery coordinate कर चुका हूँ, one of the Rotary members with me once called me up कि उनके पास एक बच्चा है requiring heart surgery. So I just told her कि अगर आपको बच्चे की जान बचानी है तो you have to be committed and give your time, effort and energy. So she committed with me, and she coordinated the child coming from Aurangabad to Bombay. 48 hours journey in an ambulance. She coordinated every moment with the father, with me and the doctor. बच्चा बंबई में वाडिया हॉस्पिटल में आया, उसकी हार्ट सर्जरी हो गई. 15 दिन तक वो फॉलो करती रही. We collected all the money, we coordinated the paperwork. She followed up with the whole team continuously. On the 15th day when the child was discharged, she was at the hospital. And what did she get after 15 days of effort? On the 15th day when the child was being discharged, the father told that Rotarian कि आपने इतना टाइम दिया है, मेरे बच्चे की जान बचाई है, and I have not named the child till today. You are the only one having right to name the child. This is what she got by giving a time, effort in Rotary. So happiness which is permanent, never to be forgotten. So all our Rotarians in Bombay, we are 6,000 Rotarians. We are continuously helping people, helping the needy, and doing such service कि आज literally आज हम भी वो खुशी के moment नहीं भूलेंगे. Today morning, Gautam, I was at SRCC hospital at Haji Ali. We had 28 children from Sangli district for heart surgery. They were done in a camp, brought over here. They'll be all operated free of cost, and they will go back after 1 week. And Shanta, today I had tears in my eyes. One of the father literally fell down at my feet crying. You are saving my child.
This is amazing, Rajendra ji. The kind of activity that you have done, as I was telling earlier, the child's heart surgery to our DG's heart, and we all are committed to doing this and following your footsteps, your inspiration. This evening is full of inspiration today, Rajendra ji, and thank you for having opened up such a fantastic note and given us the opportunity to also basically look at beyond what you are trying to do and help you under your leadership and take this ahead.
Thank you for inviting me today. All the best. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
Have a great evening.
Well, this evening is full of inspiration. We are now going to see two personalities. It's a wonderful privilege and honor on behalf of all the board, the members of Rotary Club, Inspire, and all the co-host members to welcome you, Gautam Gambhir. Really a great pleasure, and it's a privilege for us, and we cannot thank Shanta anymore to having organized this activity. Gautam Gambhir is one of the finest cricketers that India has ever seen, needs no introduction. Even then, I will try to do my bit in terms of presenting what we all know and just reiterating it. Pardon me if I make any mistake, Gautam ji, because
you're absolutely free to do say whatever.
आपका प्रोफाइल इतना बढ़िया है कि कहीं ना कहीं कुछ छूट गया तो माफ करिएगा बस. Well, a cricketer used his sport, his talent to create a name for himself, a brand for himself, and become an international icon. And not just that, after being an international icon, he leveraged his brand service. People who have done this. And this is a testament of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's vision of New India. And Gautam epitomizes this much better than anybody else. Another biggest challenge that he chose East Delhi as his constituency, which was one of the very, very tough constituencies, and successfully elected as a member of parliament. And both the waves of COVID, particularly the second wave, the foundation that he set up, Gautam Gambhir Foundation, has done fantastic work in getting solace at a time when the bed and oxygen, the basics like air and water was challenging. His foundation has gone out of the way in terms of creating the right impact selflessly. Separated apart from that, being this thing, he's a Padma Shri awardee, he's an Arjuna Award awardee, many accolades. But what I'm trying to say is that we are blessed to have him today in a conversation, a person who has leveraged his brand into community service, into public service, continues to do that. This is the vision of New India and a role model and a benchmark for all the youth to follow, that fame and that fame. Fame converted into public service makes you a good human being, and Gautam Gambhir is a living example of that.
Thank you so much.
I will not come between Gautam and all of you right now. Right. Dynamic, inspirational president, Rotarian Shanta Valluri Gandhi, who again epitomizes service. And I have learned a lot. I'm only saying facts. I'm not flattering you, Shanta. And we've been associated with her professionally and personally. It's not just Shanta, the entire family does that. Her husband Jasmeet cycles for girl child education. Shanta walks miles to give girl child education. So what better evening than somebody like Shanta who will get into a conversation with Gautam and inspirational discussions. So the pitch is open for you all. The matches begin. Shanta, please take it ahead from here. Just a hygiene factor. The chats will be disabled right now, and question and answers will be conversation in the chat. Only request people to be very brief in their questions so that we can take as much as possible. Thank you so much. Over to you, Shanta.
Hi, Gautam. Thank you first and foremost for agreeing. At such a short notice, I happily sent you a message and you immediately agreed. So first and foremost, thank you. Pleasure you have to say is all mine, because I made it so difficult and then I start harassing you guys. So thank you very much. And I have to thank Dinesh as always, because without whom I know certain things don't happen. So thank you, Dinesh, if you're online or offline, because I have to say this. What I'm going to do with Gautam is that I'm going to ask him a few questions, okay? And we're going to make this a conversation. And at the end of it, if anybody has many, I'm sure many people have questions. So Gautam, I'm putting you on the spotlight, not only on Zoom, but to just ask you, would you like to go lighter the questions, or would you like me to ask any question which comes to top of my mind?
Anything. I'm a very, very probably black and white boy, so you can throw anything at me.
Okay. So Gautam, the biggest thing about you is that I have interacted with you not like a member of parliament, but more as the Gautam Gambhir Foundation. I don't think my interest in cricket has been so high, but definitely my interest in your Gautam Gambhir Foundation has been a very exciting space. One of the things that you recently did was you stepped out to support sex workers. I'm starting my question from this piece on Gautam Gambhir Foundation, not on your cricket, because I think we have enough on cricket, which will come subsequently. So over to you, Gautam. Why did you look at sex workers as a support, and what have you done in the pandemic?
First, I have to be absolutely honest with you and with everyone that you've been a massive support. In fact, you've been the first one who came on board and helped us help the foundation. And I really have to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm not saying it just because there are people here and you're probably on a Zoom meeting with me. Sex workers, the reason was because during our first wave of COVID, we were actually getting a lot of calls from actually sex workers that they were short of ration. So we went there, we distributed ration kits to all the sex workers. And the things which we saw there, well, obviously it was very, very disheartening. And then the most satisfying thing in probably helping a sex worker child, and that also a girl child, is that you can never know who that girl is, because there are so many confidentiality clauses that goes with that you don't know where does she come from, who is her mother, whether I'm supporting. She would never get to know whether I'm supporting her. I would never get to know that this is the girl till she get married, because what we've decided as a foundation is that we're going to probably help her out till she gets married. And that is something which is very satisfying, because you can't use her to your own advantage. And that is what most of the foundations do, that they try and use it to their advantage, that we are sponsoring these many children. We disclose the identity of the children as well. But in this case, or in this cause, what we've taken up, we can never use it because we've already signed a confidentiality clause. And that is something which obviously is very, very satisfying. And if you can actually help these girls not go back to the same profession, that is something which we are looking for, because most of the time these girls are actually forced into getting into the same profession as well. And that is the reason why we decided that we have to help them out till they get married. It is not only about their education. It's very easy to just sponsor the education till 12th standard and then probably leave them after that. And that is where they're most vulnerable at. So once they finish off their graduate education, or probably their school, probably help them out studying more and then help them out getting settled. And that is something what the foundation will look into. And the most satisfying thing is that I don't even know who those girls are. And they don't know who's sponsoring them.
Oh, so you've not used this as a publicity stunt.
You can't do that. And you can't do that because you've already signed a confidentiality clause that when you have to sponsor a girl child of a sex worker, that is the first thing you first have to sign legally, that they will not know your identity, because there's a stigma attached to those girls. So when they go to a school, it should not be said that, okay, they come from that background. And for that's the reason why it is very, very satisfying. I hope that a lot of more people come and help these girls, because that is probably the biggest satisfaction you can ever get. Member of Parliament, cricketer, XYZ, into different opening community kitchens or helping the martyrs' children is all fine. But this is something which is probably the closest to my heart.
Wow, Gautam, this is so satisfying, because, you know, in Rotary Club of Mumbai Inspire, we are doing financial literacy for transgenders and sex workers. You know, they don't even know where to save money. You know, they have no clue, because whatever they earn, they generally spend for something like this. So it's really heartening. And I must talk to you on the Rotary side as a separate discussion on this piece, because this is very interesting what you've done. You've also extended a lot of help on sanitizers and other stuff, right?
We've actually installed the sanitizer, all the machines and everything in all the schools and colleges in our constituency. Sanitary pads for the girls in all the colleges and schools, which is one thing which we took as a foundation. But again, I'll keep coming back to the same thing. For me, the most important thing is if we can actually help more girls coming out of those from the sex workers. If we can actually increase the numbers, that's going to be very satisfying, because that is one thing which has actually we started this foundation from helping the martyrs' children, and you were a massive supporter. No doubt about it. But now, if you ask me, one initiative which is probably closest to my heart is helping these girls' child.
Oh, we must look at this. This is off the cuff here, because this is not an RBL event for me, but we must discuss this piece, Gautam, because it sounds like a plan, because it's all about inclusivity. You know, this pandemic has left us all thinking. Okay, lots of thinking has happened. In fact, I joined Rotary in November 20, post this whole issue of the pandemic. So there are many valuable lessons each of us has learned in this process. A few from you, because you've been a cricketer, you managed teams, you exhibited leadership at various points of time. Now, as a member of parliament, as an influencer, is there something that you'd like to throw light on from the pandemic, certain lessons, and how did you use them?
See, I'll tell you one thing very honestly. Never in last 2 years, actually, I thought that I'm an MP or a member of parliament. All what I did in the first wave or in the second wave, all we did, is not the right word to use. All we did was purely from being an Indian. And that was a great opportunity for me to actually give it back to the country. A lot of people spoke a lot of negative things about this is happening, that is happening. But for me, I think it was a great opportunity to showcase your nationalism towards your country. Not many times in your life you will get that opportunity to probably give it back to the nation. All our life we keep saying the same or asking the same question: what this country has done for us. Probably in last 2 years or not, it hasn't even finished as yet. You never know whether there's got to be the third wave around the corner. But this probably last 2 years have actually taught me that it's not about what this country has done for me. What I can do for this country matters more. So yes, never thought that I'm a member of parliament. Always took it as a normal human being who's gone out there to help another human being in need. And the contributions do not matter. It's the smallest of contribution can help. Even in my constituency, even to my own friends, I said, don't think about the contribution. It could be helping or feeding one person on the road who might be starving. So that's your contribution towards this nation. Don't say that only big contributions matter. No, it's not the size of the contribution, it's the intent with which you contribute is more important. Some people can contribute big, some people can contribute small. It's all about what you think about this country and where you want this country to go, because it was a great opportunity for you to help another fellow Indian. So that is the kind of intent we went out with, and hopefully we were able to touch a lot of lives.
Just tell me, I'm asking you a sticky question. See, you are a well-known personality. Okay, I don't need to send a brief on who Gautam is to any of the people who introduced you, including the district governor. Is it easier when you're an accomplished person with your kind of pedigree to make this change more impactful, or do you see this pretty much a thing of which every common man can do?
Anyone can do. See, I don't think so that member of parliament has anything to do with the intent. To be honest, in last 2 years, it's just what you want to do for the nation. See, probably I can open up that we tried helping people out, but now obviously I have to fight a case in the court because we distributed FabiFlu because we were getting thousands of calls or hundreds of calls every day that there were ladies crying, there were kids crying, there were girls crying, wanted help for their parents, or probably parents calling me and telling me that they need help for their children. They needed FabiFlu, and all we did was probably procured and probably gave it for free for people who could not afford it. But then, see again, sometimes you live by the sword, you die by it. All you need to know, all you need to answer is to your own conscience. And when my conscience was clear, I'm absolutely ready to fight any battle, ready to go to any court. That really does not matter to me, because if given an opportunity in future, I would definitely do the same thing again. And I'm not going to try and portray myself as someone who's superhuman and stuff. This was my opportunity to help someone out. And then in distributing those medicines, if I've actually saved even one life, that's worth it. Because we all have seen what this country went through during the second wave. So it was our opportunity. It was our probably responsibility towards other people as well. So yes, sometimes as a member of parliament, it can actually backfire. Had I not been a member of parliament, it wouldn't have backfired as much as it has in last probably 3 or 4 months. But then yes, you live by the sword and you die by one. And I'm absolutely happy that I could able to contribute and save at least even one life. That's enough.
Gautam, the Gautam I met maybe 4 years ago and the Gautam that I'm hearing today, for me personally, it's a big change. To the time we had that conversation as to saying that I'm planning to join politics, to the time of sitting in where you're sitting and the conversation that you're having. I do see your Twitter handle also pretty often. So I know that, there are positive and not so positive, because
I can probably answer this question that my intention still remains the same. My intent still remains the same. Country comes first, still remains the same. Whether I'm a member of parliament, whether I'm not a member of parliament, I think till the time my country is first for me, that is all that matters to me.
Superb, Gautam. Such a pleasure. Always talking to you is a pleasure for me. So this time there are more spectators, but whenever I meet you, I get one perspective and I say, okay, we can make an impact and I must use you more effectively there. Then comes cricket. Now, cricket is a sport of the masses. Everyone loves it. So let me tell you, in my own organization, we have these practice sessions, etc. One of our young kids who was the captain has also gone on to play the Ranji Trophy, etc. So there is this whole excitement on cricket. And in between, in the pandemic, there was some amount of silence there, for a game of masses. Any early reads on how mentally and physically sports people need to react to this pandemic, because you've been pretty active during this phase? And this is a question from my team. Okay, so I'm just taking the liberty to ask you this.
Let me answer this question, that India needs to get out of this cricketing nation to becoming a sporting nation. That is more important. We need to get out of this euphoria of being a cricketing nation, because every other sports deserve the same kind of high recognition as compared to all the cricketers. And I'm not saying it because I've retired. Always, when I was playing also, I said the same thing. For me, I think all other sportsmen work equally hard to bring laurels back to the country. They've done enough, especially what we've seen in Olympics as well. There was Indian hockey who won bronze after 41 years, which was a massive achievement. But yes, it was difficult. And probably during COVID, what you asked me about the question, that how do we need to get mentally tough as a sportsman? I know it's tough when you're not playing cricket or when you're not playing any other sport. It's tough sitting at home and probably, but then it's a great opportunity probably too, because I played a lot of cricket, not only by practicing, but by visualizing it as well. A lot of my practice, a lot of my batting, a lot of my other skills happened visualizing, that how I need to visualize what I need to do, because you don't get that kind of an opportunity if you were sitting at home for last 1.5 years. You could visualize, you could see what you want to, where you want to improve, how you want to improve. Probably you can get physically stronger as well, because any other sport, all sport are becoming physical now. It is no more only skill. So probably yes, working on your fitness, because the more physically fit you are, the more mentally fit you are. When people keep asking me this question, that how do you get mentally strong? You will only be able to get mentally strong when you're physically strong. When you're physically strong, it is just the byproduct of getting mentally strong. So when you're sitting at home, it's a great opportunity to probably dig deep and think and visualize where you want to go, how much you want to achieve.
So what is your view on this Tokyo Olympics? You briefly touched on it, because these are, Neeraj Chopra for specifically. When you hear about all these great winners, how do you feel about it? What is the feeling as an Indian?
Oh, absolutely fabulous. See, I've always maintained one thing, and I've always said one thing, not only because I'm saying it on your Zoom call, I've said it earlier as well. Olympic medal is bigger than any other World Cup medal. And it will always remain like that, because World Cup in cricket, there are only 8 or 10 nations that play cricket. But if you see Olympics, there are how many? 80 or 90 odd nations participating in Olympics. So Olympic medal will always be bigger than World Cup medals. And that is the reason why I said that hockey medal after 41 years was bigger than any World Cup, whether it was 1983, 2007, 2011. And I got a lot of backlash as well. But people forget that I was part of 2 World Cups as well. And people say that you're degrading cricket. I was never trying to degrade something. I was only trying to upgrade the other sport. It is about how you see whether the glass is half empty or half full. Why will I degrade something which I've done for last 20, 25 years?
Sure.
The majority of my life. It is all about upgrading someone else, pulling someone else. So if you're giving credit to some other sport, which has been a national sport, so the revival of hockey is about revival of sport in India. So for me, it will always remain that Olympic medal, hockey medal, bronze medal in Tokyo is bigger than any World Cup, and will be bigger than any World Cup even in future.
That's being extremely modest. Gautam.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I've actually given you the reason. Cricket, only 10 nations play cricket. Olympic, look at how much hard work goes through. Look at Belgium. No one expected Belgium to win the Olympic gold. You're competing against Australia, Belgium, Germany. And where hockey was probably 10 years back, hockey didn't even qualify for the Olympics.
Sure,
look at the revival. And when your national sport revive, you try, then you're going towards becoming a sporting nation. Let's get out of that zone of becoming a cricketing nation. We've already become a cricketing nation. Now try and probably go towards becoming a sporting nation. And I'm sure probably in 3 years down the line, because hockey has given us such a joy, probably all the other sports will pick up as well. And we'll do much better in next Olympics. And it is not about being modest, it is about being honest.
So now we come to your favorite thing about the solid knock of 97 from 122 balls. I think you've heard it a million times. Okay. And in 2011 cricket, we walked away with the World Cup, and you also did a super job with Dhoni. This is some story that I would like you to spend some time on. What was your feeling when there were others who were going away ducking? How did you feel? What was it when you walked away with it? Because I know you're a total Indian national. Tell us a little more on that, and certain leadership lessons. How have you applied that in your life in the going forward?
See, it didn't bother me one bit what was happening at the other end, to be honest. I know it's easier said than done, but that is exactly what I'm saying. It didn't really bother whether we were 0 for 1 or 20 for 2. Because for me, all that mattered was that till the time I'm there, we're going to win the World Cup. And if I didn't have that belief, I shouldn't have been part of the World Cup team. Because if you don't have that belief, you have no right to be representing your country. So that is all I believed in. That till the time I'm going to be in the middle, we'll end up winning the World Cup final. So that is exactly what I always say. And when people ask me, how did I prepare myself? I prepared myself exactly the same way how I prepare for any other game. Because for me, occasions didn't matter one bit. It is not the occasion. It's not the occasion that matters. It's the contest that matters. And the contest is not between the World Cup final. The contest is between ball and a bat, bowler and a batsman. If I can end up winning that contest, that is all that matters. And probably in your field, when you go into a meeting, it is not about make or break. It is about, you can't control that. All you can control is what you can control. All I could control into the World Cup final was watching the ball as closely as I can, having a blank mind and trying to win that particular contest. Whatever happens after that, I can't control. Whatever has happened before that, I can't control. So when it comes to the corporate world, when you go into the meeting, whatever has happened before that meeting doesn't count, and what's going to happen after that meeting will not count. It's staying in that present that is the most important thing in life. And that is exactly what I did. So all the years of practice I've done is not only about going there and hitting balls or probably practicing just for the heck of practicing. It is about trying to train my mind to stay in the present as long as I can. Because present is the only thing that I can control. I can't control my future. I can't control my past. So that is how I approached, and that is probably one of the reasons why probably I could deliver what I could deliver. If probably my mind would have gone in the future, or my mind would have thought of we are 20 for 2, I would have actually crumbled under pressure. So try and control what you could control. Forget about what's going to happen, and results will take care on its own.
You know, you've taken leadership positions on multiple things. The reason I'm asking you this is I've taken over this presidentship. Okay. It's additional responsibility after a day job, and a day job which is not very easy. It's got a lot of complexities. So as a leader of, having led, you're also a member of the parliament, you've played important roles in managing teams, more importantly, KKR. How have you been able to prioritize all this time and making sure you're always in the present? Because, please continue.
I'll just tell you one thing. People do not understand the difference between being a leader and a captain. A lot of times people in my profession, especially in my first profession or in my earlier profession, thought captain is an automatic leader. Absolutely not. Leader is something who leads 24 hours a day. Captain only leads 6 hours a day on the cricket field. So, and the most important lesson which I had learned, or probably which I had actually experienced, or which I could implement, was probably giving a lot of importance to small contributions. Big contributions only make headlines. It's the small contributions that will win you a game of cricket, that will help you achieve your target, especially in your profession. Sometimes in a country obsessed with numbers, and our country is obsessed with numbers. If you score 100, you're a successful guy. If you get a five wickets, you're a successful guy. But sometimes it's those 20s. It's that one important wicket that can turn the entire game. So all I did in 7 years when I was with KKR was to give importance to those small contributions, which a lot of people do forget. And that is how you do team. When you talk about team building and all that stuff, team building is nothing. Team building is not something which is probably rocket science. Team building is about helping someone who's made a small contribution, picking him up and giving him equal importance as to someone who's actually scored 100. So the moment you do that, the moment you make someone feel important, is all about team building. Sometimes we don't do that. And in every profession, we don't do that. The day we start doing that, you will stop asking about these lessons. What should we do to help me team building and stuff? So that is exactly how I built the team as well. And that is the reason why we could be successful, because for me, all that matters was small contribution, not the big ones. Because I always had the opportunity to make big contributions, because I had the opportunity to open the batting. Someone who was batting at number 6 or number 7 would always be able to get 15 or 20 runs. So it doesn't really matter how you start. All that matters is how you finish. So I might get an 80, but someone who's got those 10 runs probably be able to help me win a game of cricket, because he's been able to finish that game. So his 10 is far more important than my 80. So the moment we start recognizing those small things, your team will already be built and your family will already be created. And that is how we were able to do that.
Amazing. Yeah. Gautam, some of the stuff you're saying, we also go through this to say its outcome is more important than the effort that you put in sometimes, because it's ultimately how you finish the game. So it's a nice lesson. If anybody from the corporate world is listening, it's a super outcome story.
And one more thing, I think in every profession, see, in a country like India, we're obsessed with numbers. In corporate world, you're obsessed with numbers.
Absolutely.
In my field as well, when I was playing cricket, it was all about scoring runs, taking wickets, nothing beyond that. If you've scored runs, you will have all the importance, you will get everything what you want. But no, sometimes probably a brilliant catch, sometimes just probably the smallest of smallest contributions should be given a lot of importance. And I'm sure probably you guys will implement that, because I was very successful when I could do that, because that is what made me the captain what I was. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to achieve what I could in 7 years when I captained KKR.
What is your exciting day of your life? An international cricketer, a parliamentarian, or a doting father?
Doting father, hands down.
I know that. That's why I asked you this question last.
Means nothing comes close to that. I love spending time with my girls, and there's no better feeling than spending time with them, because I know deep down that probably once they grow up, they might not need me as much as they need me now. So every moment spent with them will always be a memory that I could cherish for the rest of my life, because rest all the other things are absolutely temporary. Member of Parliament is just a responsibility. It is not my birthright. It can go tomorrow. It might not stay with me forever. Cricket, like how I started, finished one day, but probably my bond with my daughters will always remain till I live. So that is something which I will cherish for the rest of my life, and that is the reason why probably that comes before any other thing.
So I know that. That's why I asked you this question, because I've seen you at your home, and I've seen you with your wife, and I've seen you with your kids. Now let me ask you one of the fondest memories about your fantastic dancing skills
My
that
dance,
you have.
I've never danced. I've never sang. I've never danced. I have never, honestly, I've never danced. I didn't even dance on my wedding. I didn't even dance after winning 2 World Cups. I can't sing. I can't dance. I'm a very boring boy. I'm a very, very boring boy, actually.
Yeah, so you have 2 left feet. We are aware of that. So I just wanted to re-emphasize the fact that, how do you dance with 2 left feet? Because you're well known for that, Gautam. So I'm very keen to know. How do you make sure that Natasha is always on her toes when you are the partner to dance with her?
I make sure that she doesn't dance. And if she wants to dance, she doesn't dance with me. And I keep telling my kids as well, you can ask me anything you want anything, I'll give you, but never ever ask me to dance, because I can't dance. Because if I could have danced, I would have got many more runs, because I couldn't move my feet.
Fine, so that's a great. Tell me, on your major duties that you do, you have been on the cricket field, you've been in the parliament. Has anyone seen you in the kitchen? Because I haven't seen anything on your Insta in the kitchen during this pandemic. All men went to the kitchen. Why were you an exception?
I'll tell you the story, which is a very funny story. Once Natasha went to her mom's house, and in fact, it was 1 o'clock 1 o'clock at night. So I actually was very hungry. So I went to the kitchen, and actually I had no clue where the spoons were. So I had to call her up at 1:30 at night. She was sleeping. And she said, where the hell are the spoons? She said, what are you saying? I said, I don't know where are the spoons in the kitchen, because my mom was sleeping, my dad was sleeping, obviously. So I couldn't wake them up. So I called up Natasha and I asked her at 1:30, I still don't know where the spoons are. Can you imagine? I've never entered my kitchen, which is very, very wrong, which is shocking, and which probably is not the right thing, but I don't know how to cook.
But you get superb food because mom's been managing everything. I remember the
Mom's a
lovely
good
lunch.
cook. Natasha is a good cook. So I'm lucky to have people around me who can cook really well and actually can feed me some nice dishes. But then if it comes to me, all I can do is probably have a cornflakes and milk.
I remember the lovely lunch I had at your place, and we must repeat it once the pandemic is over. Do you ever take the duty? There's something about you that we know, that you listen to one song continuously. What is this fetish for only one song? Why not have multiple songs? I don't listen to any. So, you still listen to one. I hear all the time.
Because I don't get bored that easily with anything. In fact, it's not only the song. If I start eating something, I can actually eat for weeks. Like if I'm having dal chawal for lunch, you can ask Gaurav, you can ask Dinesh, you can ask all the people who've been associated with me. If I'm having dal chawal for lunch, I can have it for weeks and weeks. And if I'm listening to a song, I can listen to it for a month, not only weeks. I just don't get bored. So probably that's the reason. And once I finish it off, then probably it takes a lot of time for me to get back to that same song. So I actually finish off that one song and then go to the other one.
Oh my God. So, people talk about it. So do you hum them often, Gautam, or you just keep listening? Because you can't sing, you can't dance. So what do you do listening to the same song? You by heart the lyrics.
just keep listening, and at the same time, it gives me a lot of peace as well. It gives me actually a lot of, it's my stress buster as well. My two stress busters are probably spending time with my girls, and second is listening to songs or listening to music. First thing in the morning, or probably the last thing at night as well. I need to listen to a song. If I'm actually in love with any of the songs, I would sleep. I would actually listen to that song before I go off to sleep, and the first thing in the morning.
So something about Ranja. So what is this thing about Ranja that we hear?
Yeah, I know where are you getting these questions from, but then I do have a specific question.
Now that I put you in the spotlight, because I've done all my homework on you,
I know.
Gautam. Every
I
time
know.
I've met you very professionally and once in a while, informally. But this is like, why Ranja? So now that is a question that is irking me more than anyone else. So
Because
tell
I
us
love-
more.
Because I love the video, and I love I love the video, and I love the movie as well, and I love the Indian Army. That is my only regret in life. I'm 39, and my only regret in life is that I couldn't join the army, and I love the uniform. Probably that is one uniform which I love more than any other uniform, and that's the reason. Everything about that movie, everything about that song, and just the lyrics, and just the way it was picturized, and just the impact of that song as well. And it's just the meaning of that song, because that's the life of a soldier. And what better life can a soldier live when they're living actually for the nation? So that's just everything about that song, everything about that movie.
So what irks Natasha the most?
Me listening to the same song again and again, and sometimes she doesn't even understand because it's Punjabi. Ranja, for example, has a lot of Punjabi lyrics to it, and she sometimes gets bored really quickly. But I can keep listening to the same song. That's the reason why she hate going for a drive with me, because all my songs are on a repeat.
So, Gautam, I'm sure the audience wants to ask you a lot of questions, and, I shouldn't take up all the time. Although before we open the chat, I would like to ask a few questions which has come from a colleague who also heads our cricketing fraternity in the bank. So I'm going to take the liberty to ask you these questions, and please, these are like a list of them. So please bear with me till we open the chat. May I request my co-host to please open the chat for the others to post in?
Chat box is open.
Yeah, thank you. How do you rate the current Indian side as their dominance over cricket for now? They won in Australia and England. What has changed now? Whatever that question means.
Just the fast bowling. I think bowlers win you test matches, bowlers win you games, and India probably has one of the best fast bowlers in the world at the moment. The current crop of fast bowlers, I'm not going to talk about one or two, but it's just the battery of fast bowlers, and that's the reason why we could do well in Australia and why we are able to do really well in England.
Yeah, maybe that's your next. That was also the next question. Your comments on current Indian fast bowlers and bench strength of Indian cricket. Would you like to comment?
Fast bowlers for sure. We've got some absolutely fantastic fast bowlers, and it's not only about one or two, but it's just the 5 or 6 in the ranks, and that is what makes India a very successful and a very dangerous side overseas. We were always a very strong side at home whenever we've played over a period of past 20-30 years, but then when you start doing well overseas, it's because of your fast bowlers, and that is the reason why India has been very dominant.
The next question is, any message for the Indian team for T20 World Cup to be held in October, November? Not that we are communicating it, but I think the person wanted to know because he's also a cricketer or aspiring cricketer. So
Forget the occasion. I think it really doesn't matter. It's not the T20 World Cup. It's the contest between the bat and a ball. The moment you start thinking about the World Cup, probably you'll start putting too much of pressure on your own self. And ultimately, all that matters is that how you approach that particular game. So don't think about that, because when we won the World Cup, I don't think so. I don't know about other people. I never thought about that it was 2011 or a 2070, 20 or a 50 over World Cup. For me, every game was more important, and on top of that, every contest was more important.
there is a question on the chat which says, one second, I'm sorry, just bear with me. What is it between you and Afridi, Mr. Gautam Gambhir? This is from Kashyap of Rotary Club of Bombay Central.
Absolutely nothing. I have never had any personal issues with anyone. See, again,
Super.
I was very passionate about my country, and I'm sure he's passionate about his country, and every one of us are passionate about our country and patriotic about our own country. So that is all. And he's a fabulous cricketer. He's done really well for his country. And I'm sure when we played against each other, he wanted to win a game for his country, which is absolutely fine with me, fair with me as well. And I try doing the same as well. And in that moment, if we've exchanged words, there's nothing personal.
You know what I'm going to do is, maybe it's not a bad idea that people can ask their own questions so they feel they are in conversation with Gautam Gambhir rather than me reading it out from chat. So I would request people to unmute, but I also want you to be aware that too much of noise, we will mute you back. So you have an opportunity to speak to him directly rather than me being the spokesperson. You know, Gautam, for me, it's been a pleasure as always because, you know, you're somebody who's, I don't.
Hello.
I don't look at you as a, hello? Can you hear me, Gautam?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
But to be honest, Gautam, I have never looked at you as a celebrity. Since the time I met you many years ago to today, I always look at you as the person Gautam Gambhir. And you know, the affection that we've always been given by your company and your partner, which is Dinesh Chopra, whom I always have to acknowledge because, you know, we just reach out to him and you've been phenomenal in always giving us that time. What makes you, before I open it to everybody, this personal connect to somebody who probably met you professionally? What is it that makes you so personally connected with people? What is that one quality that you think is what attracts you to be personal with people to an extent which is just beyond managing day to day? You know, we can be transactional. What is it that you like as a quality in people that you seem to be connected?
Honesty and loyalty. There are two words which are very, very important in my life, which has always remained very important in my life. I believe in honesty and I believe in loyalty. If I'm loyal to someone, I will always remain loyal, irrespective of whatever happens. And honesty is something which has always been the foundation of my growing up. And I will try, and I've always promised myself every morning when I wake up, and I promise myself that I have to be as honest as I can to my own self and to the people who I am associated with. That is all that matters to me. I don't think so there's any other word that for me which is as important as honesty and loyalty.
Thank you, Gautam. Always a pleasure. I think we have some raise of hands, but before I go to Subbu, may I request Sunil Mundra because he was the next question, and Subbu, then we'll come back. Request you all to please raise your hand so that we can unmute and it's not too noisy. Sunil, you had a question on the chat. Can you ask a question, please?
Yeah, thanks, Shanta, for this opportunity, and thank you and warm welcome, Gautam, on this call to be with you. So you've been one of the ideal, best player aspiration for me because I'm also left-hander. I also played cricket at a district level and I used to see you very often. See, the question I have, two questions rather actually. One is how do you prepare yourself in a different formats? Like you have multiple format within cricket also, like T20, Test and ODI. And also now the new inning, you are in the Parliament. So when the situation changes completely, how do you prepare yourself? And the second question is how do you motivate yourself when things do not go along with you? Like for example, 2007 World Cup, you were not part of the team in spite of being very good player and there was a very high chance. But then again, you played superbly and became a part of 2011. Not only became, I think you were one of the best players. So how do you motivate yourself when you're not, when you are dropped off or you are not part of the squad when you where you want to be? So how do you?
I'll answer your second question first because probably then you can ask me another question, the first one. See, sometimes when you don't have enough options, because obviously my first love still remains the army, but when I decided to continue playing cricket, I had no other option. That irrespective of whether I was playing for India, I wasn't playing for India, there were dark days, there were lonely days, there were bad days, there were good days, there were more failures and success. But all you could do is probably continue playing. So sometimes lack of opportunity is also a blessing. And that is what I believed in, because all I could do was to go out there and keep playing cricket and keep scoring runs. So it became very simple. When you've got multiple options, probably then sometimes your mind starts diverting whether I should do this, whether I should do that. I never had that opportunity. All I had was cricket, and all I wanted to do was probably play cricket. And one more reason was because obviously I come from a business family, I never wanted to join my dad's business till I become a successful cricketer. It would have been very easy for me to give up things and probably join my dad's business, but I was not someone who was willing to give up, because probably had I gone to my dad's business after giving up something, I couldn't have seen myself ever in the mirror. So all I wanted to do was probably if ever I decided to join my dad's business, was after becoming a successful person, whatever profession I was in. And that's the reason why I didn't give up. And that's the reason why I kept working hard and probably try to get better than what I was the previous day. And the second question, what was the question that, how do I prepare?
How do you prepare yourself in a different, formats and different situations?
Different formats. The foundation is very important. If your foundation is strong, it really doesn't matter what format you're playing. But if your foundation is weak, then you will eventually crumble. So the best players in the world who've done really well in all the three formats are the players who've got solid foundations. So that's the reason. Probably think about your foundation. Don't think about the format. Look at people like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Kane Williamson, all these guys. These guys are top quality players in all the three formats because their foundation is strong. So sometimes when people say that, do I need to prepare differently? No. Think about how to get your foundation right, how to get your foundation stronger. Rest, everything will be taken care of.
Thanks.
Yeah. So my question, Gautam, is that you talked about India being a sporting nation, transforming from a cricket religion to a sporting nation. And the recent Olympics, as you said, has given a lot of inspiration to the youth to look at striving for more. Do you think you would be, or through your foundation, will be looking at creating a format or a program to identify possible talents in one or two sports and encourage? I'm asking you this because day after tomorrow, we are launching the National Olympic Talent Search with the Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan in Pune. So it is just an initial thought that is happening, but icon like you will definitely make a lot of difference in inspiring people to look beyond cricket, as you rightly said.
See, we would love to, but we don't have enough funds. Probably Shanta ma'am will have to give us more funds.
That is the reason I asked you, Gautam, here.
Yeah, please.
Bottom, I'm the last one who's sitting with the purse for anyone. For you, yes, on a personal level, Rotary will raise. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yes, Rotary will want to explore something like this, Gautam.
No, I'll tell you one thing. In fact, I was thinking, you asked a very valid question. Last night we were discussing how important it is for every state government to take up one sport, like how Odisha has done with Indian hockey.
Absolutely.
Look at the kind of impact they've created. They've turned the entire Indian hockey around.
Correct.
Men and women, just because they sponsored Indian hockey, they gave them the infrastructure, and see what has happened in 10 years. We got the medal in Olympics.
Absolutely.
2 Olympics back, we didn't even qualify for the Olympics. So probably time has come. I'm not saying central government should not do it. Central government should absolutely do it. They should do everything possible in their own capacity. But more importantly, centers should tell all the states to pick up one sport, whether it is picking up wrestling, archery, boxing, all the Olympic sport, and help develop that infrastructure in that particular state, which is very important. It is not only about Rotary, it is not only about Gautam Gambhir, it is not only about NGOs, corporates. It is about state governments and center working together as well. And the prime example is about Odisha. What Odisha could achieve, all other states can achieve the same as well. And I have to be thankful. In fact, we should all appreciate what the CM of Odisha has done for Indian hockey. Probably the biggest credit that goes to after players. You can talk about the Federation, Hockey India and all that stuff. But the biggest credit that needs to go to someone is the Chief Minister of Odisha, what he's done for Indian hockey.
Absolutely. Probably we'll have a conversation aside with you sometime.
Sorry, Subbu, I need to get Shailesh in. He has raised his hand for quite some time. So, Shailesh, then Chintan is the next one, and then Kashyap. Then we'll have to...
Hi, Gautam. Hi, Gautam. I have also a left-hand cricketer during my playing days, and I also used to open for my place of work. So my question to you was, during your time, that 10 or 15 years earlier, we had genuine fast bowlers, like to name a few, say McGrath or Dale Steyn during his peak time, or Akram, or anybody of that matter during your time. So would the life of, just to speak about Indian cricketers, would the life of Indian cricketers today would have been much more what it was today if those genuine pace bowlers were still around, because we see a lot of batsmen playing with this normal little less in speed because of the 2020. It's comparatively a few fraction of second easier for the batsmen to play as it was in your time.
I don't think so. I think you can never compare eras, and you should never compare eras as well, because during that time, probably there was no T20 formats. So the entire line and length and the entire mindset was about bowling in 50 overs and test cricket. But when you play T20 cricket, you actually learn the art of bowling defensive as well. And you learn the art of probably attacking, what time to attack, what time to defend as well. During that time, probably the bowlers didn't have the, I'm not saying the capability, but didn't have the mindset of probably defending what the T20 format has done. We keep talking about the T20 cricket has not done too much for the cricket overall, but for me, T20 cricket has made bowlers smart as well, and those bowlers would have been smarter as well had they played T20 format. So I feel that it's difficult to compare eras, and we should never compare, because things will keep changing. Probably in 10 years down the line, you will see much more things in cricket as compared to what you see now.
Sure. So Chintan is actually, before Chintan comes in, there's a little kid, Nivan, who wants to say hi to you, Gautam. I think
Nivan.
we'd like to give him that little privilege of saying hello. Hi,
Go ahead,
Nivan.
Nivan.
Hi.
Hi.
You were the person who scored 97 runs in the 2011 World Cup, right?
Yes.
When India had won against Sri Lanka.
Yes.
When you were not born, yes.
Yeah.
He's been so excited, Gautam, to see you. He's never watched his teacher so attentively, but he's been hanging out to every word you say.
Thank you.
Good. So, Nivan, you got a chance to say hello to the legend himself. Even before you were born, he won it, I think. So, you're really the privileged one. So, over to you, Chintan. You had a question to ask, and after that, there's Kashyap, and then I think we'll have to do a time check. Chintan.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to ask my question to Gautam sir. Hi, Gautam sir. My name is Chintan Dilip Kuar from Virar. My question to you is, what was your memorable innings when you played that innings that we take from 2007 T20 World Cup, or if 2011 World Cup? What was your memorable innings till your cricket career end?
None of them. For me, I think Napier was one inning which I would always remember, because I never thought that I had the patience of playing for 2.5 days. And never can I, because it gave me a great learning that a human can achieve so much if he decides to do something. And if a human mind has no restrictions, that it can achieve anything what he wants to. Because never ever did anyone actually thought that I could play, because I was so impatient as a boy. I was so impatient as a player as well. But then when you decide to do something, you could achieve anything, which is a great lesson for not only me after that inning, but it's a great lesson for all of you as well. That never actually, you should never go that way that I can't do this. You can do anything, you can achieve anything once you decide, once you commit to do something. And that is exactly why I say that Napier, because it taught me a lot of lessons.
So we have landed up with a paucity of time, and Kashyap, would you like to ask a brief question, because you also made a comment?
Yeah,
which I
quickly.
read out. Yes, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Gautam Gambhir. You are everybody's fan. I'm Kashyap here. I played cricket for the last 40 years. I'm 61 years old and opened the innings too. So my question is directly regarding fitness. I have met you at the Trident Hotel during your stint with Kolkata Knight Riders, once or twice in the lift. I know your Yogesh Trading Company as well. I'm in the same business. But my question is about fitness of Rohit Sharma. When he started his career till today, if you see, he's put on inches and weight. And it's most important for any opener to have feet, eye, and bat coordination, like Sehwag, Shrikant, yourself. And he's and especially a talented person, where I see 2-3 years of still cricketing, a good cricketing at this level for hooking, pulling, cutting the ball and driving the ball. There was a time when he entered into cricket and people used to fear like Jadeja that if the ball was 10 feet away from Rohit, nobody would dare to take a single against him when the ball went 10 feet either left or right of him. Now he stands only in the slips since the last 4 years. So my question is about fitness, and can anybody advise that such a talent should not go waste?
He hasn't gone waste. He's probably the best cricketer India has ever produced. So what, like,
I agree.
the entire
I agree.
use by saying this, that the talent should not go waste. No other Indian cricketer has got 300s in T20 cricket and what, 2 double or 3 double hundreds. I don't remember, to be honest.
So I want him to play for the next 5 years. I mean, if he's as fit as you and as thin as you are.
See, I'm sure he must be thinking. He must be thinking on those lines as well. There's a trainer there with the Indian team. I'm sure he's going to be working with it, because once you're playing professional sport, you know that what it requires to be a successful player. And if you want to keep achieving what you want to achieve, you got to work on your fitness as well. And I'm sure he would. And I'm sure he would be working on it. I can't comment about it because honestly, I haven't seen him for a very long time. But what he's achieved for Indian cricket, not many people have done that. And probably he's one and only who's got what, 300s in T20 cricket. So I'm sure he's going to deliver, and he's just too good a player.
You know, this gets me to thank you, Kashyap, for the question. But I must tell you that in today's era, body shaming or talking about weight is almost criminal. So I think we need to be a little conscious, and as an inclusive Rotary Club of Mumbai Inspire, I think we should be a little more mindful about what we say, because today weight is a part of your personality. Plus sizes are very well appreciated in the globe, which was once upon a time a zero size. It's all about the outcome and the finish. So fitness is important, but I think some people are born with medical issues, and we need to understand that you do tend to put on weight, but you still deliver what anybody wants from you, whether organization or the pitch. So very well said, Gautam. I think the guy is playing extremely well, and I think we need to keep appreciating them. I'm sorry because of paucity of time, but I like to, there's a vote of thanks by my co-lead Anoop. And I would like Anoop to give the vote of thanks because, Gautam has been phenomenal. But I'll take this opportunity to say a gentleman is one who puts more into the world than what he takes out. So Gautam, it's always a pleasure to be with you. Jasmeet is online, and I'm sure he's the silent one, as you know. And I'm always the vociferous one. But he's been through the thing because we genuinely think you're a fabulous human being. And that's all that matters to us. Everything else is incidental. So thank you, Gautam. Seriously, thank you. While I give this to Anoop, my co-lead host, Rotary Club of Bombay, Queen City, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shanta. What a lovely session. 1 hour I've spent with such a person who is probably not an institution but a democracy in his own self.
Thank you, sir.
From a cricketer to such a lovely parliamentarian to such a dedicated social worker. But more than that, it was the mindset of Gautam which mesmerized me. So much learning of a strong mind, which is a takeaway for everybody. If his words are golden words, if mind can decide to do something, a human can do it. And there is such lovely messages for each one of us, for the youngsters, for the new generation. And it is a pleasure to meet a parliamentarian who's, when he says such words, it touches you straight away in the heart, your heart melts that we have such lovely people in the center. And if such people are there in the center, I'm sure this country is in the best of hands with people like Gautam Gambhir in the center. And his lovely answers to Shanta's spicy questions were thoroughly enjoyable. I will definitely listen to all the songs of Ranja. And of course, Shanta, we invite ourselves to Natasha Bhabhi's Dal Chawal, because this is one thing I also relish, and we look forward to spending some time enjoying the Dal Chawal. Thank you, Gautamji, for this lovely evening.
We've lost him, but Gautam, sincerely thank you. I think we've lost Anoop, but thank you, Gautam. And once again, we would like to deliver a vote of thanks to our district governor, Rajendra Agarwal, who actually took the time out to be part of this.
Can you hear me, Shanta?
Yes, yes,
Can you-
now I can hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was
So,
completing it.
Yeah, so would definitely. So Shanta and me are invited to have the dal chawal of Natasha Bhabi. This is one thing we will look forward to. I also would like to thank our district governor for such valuable inputs about Rotary to the entire team over here. And of course, this meeting would be incomplete without thanking our co-host. They are the Rotary clubs of Ghatkopar, Tilaknagar, Jewels, Lower Parel, Bombay Harbour, Virar, Iconic, Mulund, Mulund East, Mumbai Greens, Juhu, Bombay Worli, Dhanu, Mulund Hills, Mumbai Dahisar, Mumbai Rising Stars, Harmony, Royals, Bhandu, Green City, Central, and Palghar. So there are these 22 clubs who have co-hosted this event, and because of that, we had such a lovely audience. Thank you, Shanta, for bringing to us Gautam Gambhir on a one-on-one. I am sincerely think each one over here who's been present has thoroughly enjoyed the evening. And thank you, Gautam. We look forward for your guidance and support. And we, as Rotary, would love to participate with your foundation in various of your projects. Thank you very much once again. Have a lovely evening, friends.
Take care.
Enjoy yourself. Thank you, Shanta.
See you.
for
Thank you,
such a
guys.
lovely evening.
Thank you, Gautam. Thanks a lot for this time.
Thanks, Gautam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, all
Thank
the
you, Shanta, ma'am.
co-hosts. And I can
Thank
be
you.
pulled from Spotlight now, please. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Anup, for being a phenomenal co-lead host with me. It's made my life simpler.
Thank you, Shanta. Anytime. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.